All right, everybody, we are back. Another episode of the Sports Clash. Rich Orleo here. Chris Carey, the man of many hats, as I like to call him, rocking the Chiefs hat tonight. We both have Chiefs minus 5.5. So we're rolling with that tonight for Sunday Night Football. This episode will be out by Monday morning, so you will know how smart we are or how dumb we are by then. Chris, how you
Whoa,
doing?
whoa, whoa. We had a pretty good week here
We
this
had a
week.
fantastic week. We both went 2-1, so we're winning money. I mean, we went head to head on the Eagles Niners game. I I don't love going head to head because we don't give people as much variety, and there's no chance of going undefeated for the pod.
Variety's the spice of life,
But
sir. I
yeah,
hear you.
but it works, and that was my one loss. But otherwise, did quite well, so I was happy about that. How was your Sunday, Christopher?
It was wonderful. But yeah, both straight into the belly of the beast with this one. Man of many hats did rock the 49ers hat last week, so I will say what's up, Brock Purdy. I know I called you a guy, but thanks for winning me some money. And thanks for making me look good in front of my friends. So, but yeah, no, good week for both of us. Both 2-1. So yeah, I mean, what could be a better Sunday when I do great and my friends do great and all their friends do great? Like, what could be better?
It's a beautiful, beautiful day. I my big money winner was the Dolphins tonight. I mean, they're kind of just like they're easy. It's just easy. Obviously, especially against bad teams, like unfortunately the Commanders are. Uh,
Wow,
it stinks. I don't think I'm hitting that over 6.5 win total. Probably think that might be dead.
dude, they
But
fell off a cliff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean that trading Young and Sweat
Who trades
back
in
to
the
back,
NFL?
like I mean that was kind of like the white flag. I think that sent a message to the team that you're not trying to win. Sam Howell still looks good. I mean, you want to start there since we're talking about it? Um,
Okay, why not?
yeah, why not? I mean, Dolphins 45, Commanders 15. The Commanders aren't really the story here. But I mean, as bad as they are, that's kind of the story. The Dolphins have done this all year. They beat up against bad teams. And I mean, Mike McDaniel, I don't know what more you could say about his offense. They got Devon Achan back, and he had 2 touchdowns and just
Your boy.
ran the ball down their throats at the end of the game with my boy Mike White in a quarterback who is better than all three of the quarterbacks the Jets have in their quarterback room, sadly. But we won't talk about them for now. But Tyreek Hill, I mean, look, I've been hearing a lot of MVP chatter now. It's starting that whole MVP talk is starting to pick up. ESPN
Do you agree
obviously
with it?
has Tyreek Hill should be the MVP of the league.
Yeah, I agree. Just
Uh,
like I think Marvin Harrison should be the Heisman, I think Tyreek Hill should be the MVP candidate,
it's
or at
gonna
least
come,
in the
yeah.
top three.
Oh, absolutely. It's gonna come down to is it a quarterback award or not?
Yeah.
And there's some guys who are in it. I mean, now the Dak chatter is picking up, and the Cowboys obviously, they looked really good on Thursday night. Dak got the job done, but
The back chatter.
I Jalen Hurts didn't have a great game today. You're looking elsewhere. I mean, maybe you want to throw Tua in the mix too, his own teammate. But when you watch the Dolphins, it's Tyreek. I mean, the Commanders had nobody that could cover him. They could not. They could not stop him. He had multiple catches over 40+ yards. Like it's just
I'll just stop you right there. Is there anybody in the league that can stop him and can cover him? So, you're
doesn't
running
look
out
like it.
Emmanuel Forbes, who's a rookie for the Commanders. You're running out. God, I don't even know anymore on the defense for the Commanders. So yeah, is there anybody in the league that can actually stop him? I don't think it's just a losing team thing, but that might be the rhetoric that goes against him. Wide receiver, a skilled position player, not a quarterback, and the Dolphins and the way that they've played against teams that aren't very good.
Yeah.
But I'm, I'm Tyreek MVP, and I think the league would just cringe. They'd just be like, "Oh God, one of our worst human beings."
Yeah, he's not a good dude by all accounts. I mean, I guess he's behaved recently. I haven't heard anything
He's trying to be a
news,
good
but
dude. He got married recently.
good for him.
I just think we'll hear more about Dak's Walter Payton Man of the Year. If Tyreek Hill bests him in the MVP, then we'll hear
Yeah,
about Tyreek's MVP
yeah, yeah.
over Dak.
But I mean, right now he's got almost 1,500 yards already. He's going for that 2,000-yard season. I think
Insane.
that's gonna be what it comes down to for the voters. If he gets that 2,000-yard season, which I think he will, um, he very well may win that award. People are starting to fall in love with Dak, and if he keeps playing like this, and the Cowboys overcome the Eagles and win the NFC East and take that from the Eagles, which is a possibility, that might push the voters to Dak's side and obviously away from Hurts. But I think if Tyreek Hill gets that 2,000-yard season, and I think he will, I think he should very well be the MVP, unless there's voters that you're just like, no, this is a quarterback award, and that's it.
I'm gonna say this just to piggyback off of your point there, dude. Honestly, if Dak beats Philly coming up here very soon, if Dak beats Philly and wins the division, I think Dak's the MVP. If Dak
Yeah.
doesn't do that, there's a little bit more of a mess and a mishmash that opens the door for maybe the first time since I think it was like 2010 or something like that that a non-position player has won MVP.
Mhm.
Our incredible producers can fact check me on that, but I think it's been quite some time since a non QB has won it. I mean, he might end up being most outstanding offensive player or whatever other underbelly award there is for that. But the dude should be MVP as much as it doesn't seem like anybody really wants it to happen. You turn on a TV, he's the one changing games.
Yep.
He's the one that gets your attention, and if he gets to 2,000, like you said, you can't really argue against him.
No, he's the cheat code. There's, like you said, there's really nobody that can
Game
stop
changer.
him.
Yeah, he is a
Got
game
12
changer.
touchdowns. It's an MVP season. Look, there's still
Yeah,
time.
stupid.
It's still early. There's what? How many games left? Four. So
Dude, I
a
don't
lot,
even
a
know.
lot, a lot can change. A lot can change in that amount of time. So we'll see. But
Word
if he
up,
stays
player.
healthy and if he gets to 2,000 yards, he absolutely deserves it. Dolphins look like they're running away with the AFC East too. Congrats. I hate the Dolphins, but they're now 9-3. The Jets are dead. The Patriots might be the worst team in the league, and the Bills at 6-6 at the
Okay, I was gonna say, what do you have against the Dolphins? Division rivals. I got it. I got you.
Yeah, come on, man. Just like you have against the Eagles, the Cowboys, the
Well, fuck the
Giants. Yeah,
Eagles. So.
yeah, yeah. Obviously. So Dolphins are really good. Tyreek Hill, MVP candidate. That was uh
Jesus.
that was easy money. Easy money. But let's move on to the biggest game of the week that ended up being a blowout. 49ers 42, Eagles 19.
42ers. Let's go.
The San Francisco 42ers. That was a wild game, and it was close up to a point. And there was that
It
one
was never
point where the
close.
Eagles could have come back, and that was after that crazy ejection, double ejection that Dre Greenlaw, the linebacker on the
Don't even
Niners,
get me started.
got got penalized um, on a what they called a late hit, whatever. But then got into it with the Eagles head of security, who apparently is some kind of folk hero for Philly fans. That's the most Philly thing ever. The head of
It
security.
is. It's like Brian Scalabrine in Boston.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just stupid.
Guy's
It just
name's
doesn't make any sense.
Dom DeSandro. I mean, just a fat white guy who I don't know. And that that was nothing. Like, I don't know how you feel about it, but there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, you
I feel
can't."
strongly about it, and I think you do too. I think
I
I
think it
can
was. I think it
safely
was
say
nothing. I think it was
okay.
neither Dre Greenlaw should have been ejected, and this guy DeSandro. Maybe if you want to eject him for touching a player, all right. But it was very little there. I just
Didn't we just watch Dealing with Idiots? You can't hug the players. Don't hug the players. Yeah,
yeah.
eject that guy. He's not a player. Get him off the sideline. If he touches a player, he's gone. He should be suspended. His credentials should be revoked. Get the hell out of here. Big
I don't know.
Greenlaw should have never been ejected from that game
I
because
agree on
that
that.
that changes the outcome of the game, and he's a player, and he's within his rights. If somebody comes into the field of play or whatever the reasonable expectation of the field of play is, which I would say is the grass or the turf, and comes at you and is not wearing a uniform, how do you know who the hell they are? You have no idea. So yeah, the fact that that asshole, sorry, that guy was
It's
on the
fine.
sideline and felt the need and the desire to start something with a player on the field of play. That's the most Philly thing ever, and I freaking hate it. I absolutely hate it. Um, pick them up at Phil's or Gino's or whatever after the game, but there's no way Dom should have been on the sideline, and there's no way Dom should have ever touched a player like that.
I think
So
it was very little contact. Like there was really
don't
nothing
care.
there.
Who
I
the hell
mean,
are you? Head of security? Are you Turtle from Entourage? Are you
it's
serious?
very
What are you
stupid.
doing on the sideline?
It's
Like,
a
I
very
feel pretty
stupid.
strongly about it. You just, especially you get Connor Stallions on the Michigan staff on random college football sidelines as well. If you're, head of security, whatever, you should probably be in the tunnels with a walkie-talkie in a control room. You're not. There's no bouncers on the sideline.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
can't be a bouncer on the sideline. And I think the NFL should come down on the Eagles organization for his involvement and being on the sideline in general. And I think that they're going to.
Yeah, I feel like it was a big nothing. They made something out of nothing there. But
Is your
I
New
agree
Jersey
with you
guy your
on.
bouncer type of guy? I don't know. Dude, come on, he's not supposed to be on the field.
Yeah, I agree with you. Greenlaw shouldn't have been ejected, and DeSandro probably should have been. But it was still like the video was just it was nothing. They were scuffling after the late hit, and that was it. And
Well, the officials
Greenlaw
were
did
probably like, "Who the
nothing.
hell is this guy anyway?" I
Yeah,
don't know.
Greenlaw grazed DeSandro's face. Like that was just it was nothing. The refs were it's a ref show as always,
Well, baby.
every game. But that the Eagles kind of felt like they had a little momentum there. This idiot gets a standing ovation as he gets ejected. But
So Philly.
Debo Samuel, my goodness, he is the difference for the 49ers. They have not lost a game when he's healthy. Their losing streak came when he got hurt in the Browns game early on. They lost that game. Then they lost to the Vikings and Bengals, and then Debo came back, and they haven't lost since. And they didn't lose when he was healthy before that. And this guy, you can't arm tackle him, and you can't catch him in the open field. And that's a dangerous combo. And with him and McCaffrey, those are two of the best offensive weapons in football. Two, we talk about Tyreek Hill. Those two guys are right up there with him as far as singular offensive weapons that can change games. The Niners have
Absolute
two of them.
superstars.
Yeah, the Niners have two of them, and it's scary. They're very very good. And
Yeah, so let's talk about this game actually and the players that were on the field or
yes,
whatever. But
yes,
yeah, no, Debo and McCaffrey, to have both of them, they're like the same player, but you get to line up one at wide receiver and you get to line up one at running back. And it's incredible to see. Like I can't hug their thighs. I can't get my arms around their thighs. Okay, they don't get brought down. And it's special to see because in this NFL, you have bigger players, you have better defenses, or at least better defensive players. I don't know about better defensive scheming, and the rules are kind of for offense anyway. But yeah, they haven't lost with Debo in the lineup, and I think this is why I bet this game. And like to bring it back away from Dom a little bit and the cheesesteaks and whatnot of the game. I bet this game because I counted superstars. And who had one more superstar to me was the San Francisco 49ers, right? I've got Devonta Smith, I've got AJ Brown, I've got DeAndre Swift on the offense for the Eagles. On the offense for the 49ers, I've got Debo, McCaffrey, Kittle, and Ayuk. And I think that's just one more. And like you could make the case for Jalen Hurts being an absolute superstar as well as I made the case of Brock Purdy probably isn't, but as long as he's there to distribute the ball, he gets the job done. I really think it comes down to the 49ers on both sides of the ball have one more superstar, one more guy that's going to get the job done, and they're just a little bit stronger in the trenches. And Trent Williams is an elite tackle.
yes.
And now you've got a defensive line that just gives people nightmares. The Eagles did last year. I think they led the league in sacks last year. But on their offensive line, they have a couple holes. They're not holes in the sense of like what the Commanders are dealing with, but The 49ers don't have those holes, and their lines are playing incredible, and I think they just have one more guy that's getting the job done. So that's why I went -3 on the 49ers. Even going into Philly, I know you texted me, they're booing their 10-1 team, which is absolutely incredible. You know
That's
how I don't like
wild.
fans booing.
It's just
Uh,
wild.
but yeah, no, that's why I went with the 49ers, and I'm glad that we kind of both went at it on this one. We said before we weren't giving the people much variety or anything like that, but I think it says a lot about the way that we thought about this game, the way that we both wanted to be a part of this game, and how exciting this game kind of was. So there's a lot more to come in this matchup, but this was a fun one to watch, and until it became, I think Hurts got knocked out for a second there, and till it became a runaway. It was a fun game to watch.
Very fun game, and yeah, it became a runoff in the end, but that's okay. I
What was the
think,
final? Was it 45?
yeah, it was 42-19. So it was.
42?
I mean, the Dolphins beat the Commanders 45-15, so it was close to that. But
Oh,
the Eagles outplayed them in the first quarter, and from then on, it was all Niners for the most part. But fun game, and if this is the NFC Championship game, it's going to be a fun one. It's not going to be that big of a blowout. I think Sirianni and the Eagles will game plan for Debo. They can't let him
right.
do what he did today. He was unstoppable, and he was just it's that breakaway speed that got him 3 touchdowns
I
today.
was gonna say, can you game plan for it?
You can only game plan for it so much, but
You can
you
only
got to
hope to contain it.
you got to do better with the little slants over the middle, and you have to if you're by him, you have to wrap and tackle. You're not taking him down with one arm.
Grapple.
You're not gonna strip the ball from him. He's too strong. He's too fast. You have to take him down when you have the chance, and if you don't, and he gets a little space, he's gone. And the speed is the difference. You see it with the Dolphins, with Tyreek Hill, Achan, Mostert, and the Niners have that with
Can't
McCaffrey,
teach
who's a
speed.
game changer. No, you can't. Absolutely. And
You can't coach speed. You can't teach speed. Speed just takes over. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. And look, I'm okay losing my one loss of the day, taking the Eagles as underdogs at
Yo,
home.
shout out to us, by the way. 2-1, 2-1.
2 and
Let's
1, 2
go.
and 1. It was
Can
it
we
was
even
it was
talk
a
about
great
that?
day. Yeah, no, I mentioned it before, but at the start, it was a great one. I crushed on the Dolphins. This is my one loss, one of your wins. Um, your other loss, which I have here on the docket, was a weird game with a lot of weird shit happening. Colts 31, Titans 28. You easily could have won this one. There was, I mean,
Like 5 times.
yeah, yeah. Was it 2 block punts from the Colts? The
One block punt where they literally broke the punt. I think they broke the punter's leg, and there was no
yes, I
roughing the kicker called, or
oh
running
my
into the kicker, or anything. There
yeah,
was nothing was
there
called.
was
The
nothing
guy
in it.
got carted off the field.
I don't understand. I officiating just blows my mind every week. I don't really get it,
I
but
don't get it.
I mean, the crazy thing on one of the block punts on after the touchdown, then the Titans have a pick two. They picked off the 2 point conversion try and brought it back for what they call a touchdown or 2 point conversion, whatever. It's that pick six that is only worth 2 points. So it's the
I
pick
loved
two.
it.
It's
Yeah,
that's fun, and this was a fun game, but
like seeing a
it
rainbow.
yeah, but it came down to Gardner Minshew in the end. So get it done.
Yeah, which he didn't really follow trends or anything like that. Once there was the strip sack against him, I was like, "Oh, in the bag. This is a Minshew loss. This is going to be vintage
But
Minshew. Going to try to do too much, hero ball, whatever." But the Titans did everything in their power to lose this game, including the 2 block punts. Then you had Tannehill holding an extra point, which he missed,
that
which then
was that was a
allowed
big time.
overtime to happen. They should have won the game in regulation with that, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't like a walk off or anything, but then they stopped him 3 and out, I believe it was on the next possession. There was like 50 seconds left or something ridiculous, and the Titans didn't do too much. Derrick Henry was out of the game, and you go into the NFL overtime, which is just absolutely incredible. The Titans, of course, take the ball. That's the most Vrabel thing ever. Go down the field, kick the field goal, and oh my God, they should have won the game again, right? Because sudden death. But the NFL does their own form of sudden death, where if you kick a field goal, you still get a shot on the first drive, and you still get a shot to come back and win the game, and that's freaking what happened. So the Titans should have won this twice, right? They probably should have put this away. But I will be remiss if I didn't say I'll be completely lying if I didn't say I expected 59 points out of
That
these 2
was
teams
one
at
of the
all,
highest
especially with
scoring games of the week.
Taylor hurt, Henry leaving, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there was just wasn't too much going on here. I expected maybe 17-10, or
Michael
fourteen
Pittman.
thirteen.
Michael Pittman, the Titans had no answer for him. 11 catches, 105 yards, and touchdown. He was open in the
Dude
middle of the
wants to get
field
paid.
over and over. And he should, deservedly so.
Yeah,
I mean, he's making Gardner look good. Uh, yeah, I don't know what else. The Colts are 7-5.
ridiculous. They do not deserve to be 7-5.
They're 7-5.
They
The
do not.
AFC, the AFC
I
South. What is going
couldn't see
on?
it happening. I just couldn't envision the Colts being like almost a playoff team here. I was like, the Titans are the ultimate spoiler. They're the ultimate, we're going to put vinegar in your milk type of team.
Yeah, yeah,
And the Colts pulled it out. So
wild. And the
I have to
Colts are
hold the
seven and
Titans.
five. The Texans are 7-5. Both one back of the Jaguars at 8-3. And the Jags play tomorrow night, right?
What was a pretty bad division is looking okay now.
It's looking very good. You could have You could legitimately have three playoff teams come out of the AFC South, and I really think it could happen because I don't know if the Steelers or Browns have what it takes to make the playoffs in the
Yeah, we
AFC
were
South.
kind of looking at that division there, and then all of a sudden, oh, what's happening over here? Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Bengals. It's Jaguars Bengals tomorrow night. I fully expect the
Monday night. Yeah,
Jaguars to win that, and yeah, they might be. Yeah, honestly, that's wild. What was it? 2 years ago, they all had losing records,
yeah,
or a year ago, even. It
yeah.
was pretty close. They were pretty terrible. They were NFC East worthy. Um,
The
some of the changes in the parity in the NFL, though, you can kind of see it now, though. The NFL East or NFC East now is pretty decent.
yeah
You got the
the
South now
the
pretty
Colts had
decent year
the
to
Colts
year.
had Jeff Saturday coaching their team last year.
You think he had any idea what he was doing?
Oh,
I really don't.
he very clearly didn't. It's you see the
Did he win
difference
his first
between
game
that
though? He won
and
his first
he
game, I
did win
think.
his first game, and then it was down from there. But Shane Steichen,
Play on Sunday.
impressive. I didn't know much about Steichen, but he's doing a really nice job there.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Surprisingly, I mean, I think their defense was always, or for the past few years, has been decent. Their offensive line is always, as at least for the past few years, been talked about as being pretty elite with Jonathan Taylor. So I don't think there's a ton that's there, but you do have your backup quarterback. You know, you did expect to have a rookie going into the season, so it's not a huge transition, but I think the talent is definitely lesser. You don't have Jonathan Taylor. You didn't expect to have Jonathan Taylor either. So I think he's doing an okay job. But,
Yeah,
there's some other factors that are happening there that I think are helping him out a little bit.
for sure. So those were three high-scoring, fun games. Now on to some bad ones, but they resulted in wins for us.
Yes.
We'll talk about my Jets. Falcons 13, Jets 8.
I followed you into the fray on this one.
What's
You gave the
what's
okay to bet against the Jets
I had to. I
subliminally.
and I'm gonna be honest here. I had Jets +2 penciled in, and then I'm like, what am I doing? It's Tim Boyle. What am I
Just a moment
doing?
in the mirror.
And I looked and I'm like, Artie, I think we can do this. I think the Jets are bad enough where we can
Wait,
get.
Simeon played. Simeon played, though.
Well, Simeon played after they benched Tim Boyle in like the third quarter. They're just trying everybody.
Shows how
It's a
much I paid
carousel.
attention to this
It's a
game.
it's a carousel of quarterbacks that all suck. If I'm the Jets, you play it out with Zach Wilson the rest of the year, and hopefully you lose out. And
Is this
maybe,
what happened last year, though? We bench him. Oh, wait, we really have nothing better. Let's put him back in.
yeah, that's how bad this organization is. And you had
Maybe
Mike
try to get
White.
some trade value from him or something. I don't
You had Mike White come in and orchestrate a touchdown drive for the Dolphins. I know he only threw like two passes, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we've seen what he could do for the Jets. He had injury issues, but the fact that they just let him walk and went into the year with Wilson as the backup and Boyle as the third stringer, and then they signed Simeon when you could have signed some other quarterbacks throughout the year. It's a disaster. 8 points. You can't score a touchdown. They didn't score a touchdown again, and you're wasting an
Yeah,
unbelievable defense. Unbelievable defense,
one
and
of the best
look,
I've ever watched.
uh, and Greg Zerline's having a great year, and you're wasting everything. Garrett Wilson, when you actually can get him the ball in space, like, he makes unbelievable catches. He had one called back on the sidelines, but other than that, I mean, it's a complete disaster. And I was disappointed in, I guess, because I bet on a Bijan anytime touchdown. But the Jets are just they're really good. He had 53 yards on 18 carries. They still like to get what's his face in there, Algier, eight. Look, eight carries, 26 yards for Tyler Algier. Like just
What a
feed it,
waste of time.
just feed it to Bijan. Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts was the leading receiver today, 51 yards on 4 catches. The leading receiver on the Falcons, I should say. Um,
Well, you know what? At least you're using the people who are your stars. Like, I mean, obviously Drake London, I think, is a star, but like, get Tyler as you out of there. Get Cordero Patterson out of there.
yeah, Drake
Like,
London had one
God,
catch. Uh,
you have an actual running back,
Patterson
you have
had
an
5
actual tight
carries.
end, and you
Why?
have an actual wide receiver. Run an offense with them. Like, what are we doing?
The fact that the Jets were in this game is crazy, but they outgained them. Dalvin Cook had actually his best game of the year, 35 yards on 9 carries, but he lost a fumble. So it's like I was feeling for Dalvin. I was like, why don't we just feed this guy the ball a little more? And then he fumbles the ball.
Hmm.
If there's positives to take out of the Jets, Xavier Gibson, the rookie who they made the team as a kick returner, he looks good. He might be their wide receiver too. He's certainly better than Alan Lazard. Uh, Yikes! It's just bad. The Falcons didn't really win this game as much as the Jets lost it. I could say that about 3 or 4 of the Jets' losses this year. It's incredibly frustrating,
Oh, yeah.
infuriating, but good for the Falcons. They won the game, 13-8. They covered. They won me money. I finally mustered up the gusto to bet against my Jets, as I should have many times this
Straight
year.
up.
Should have should
Yeah,
have
no,
should have hammered the under too.
made me some money. I thank you for opening the Jet store. You're like, okay,
It's okay.
this is
I approve.
okay.
Yeah, I
You can do this. You will not be defriended if you do this
approve.
week. So thank you. I appreciate it. I did steal your pick. I stole two of your picks this week personally, and
Good.
worked
Hey,
out. I
yeah, I
believe in
believe.
you, sir.
Hey, man. I mean,
Praise hands
appreciate
emoji.
it. uh, well, I don't know what else to say about the Jets. All I can do now is just hope they lose out. Somebody tweeted a scenario where the Jets lose out and a couple of teams win a couple games, and the Jets get the number 3 pick, and then they have an outside shot at Marvin Harrison Jr.
My God. Oh my God.
I guess that's all
Even
I
just
can
one
look
year of
forward to.
Aaron Rodgers throwing to Garrett
Garrett
Wilson
Wilson and Marvin
and
Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison. Like
Yeah.
I'm like Nick Bosa and Chase Young hugging each other over cupcakes. Like that sounds incredible to me.
Yeah. I don't, it's going to be, you're going to have to lose to the Patriots, and you're going to have to pay the Patriots have one other win, I think, because they're 2-10. But,
Do you
and
really
then you
think the
got,
Patriots are going to win shit?
I
They're
don't know.
actively trying to lose.
I mean, Jets, Patriots, I've been waiting for the Jets to beat the Patriots for years now. And I don't want it. Now I'm rooting for the Patriots against them. And they're probably,
Right.
this will be the game that they win, because this is what they do when they won that game a couple years ago to lose out on Trevor Lawrence. And now they're probably going to miss out on Marvin Harrison Jr. And it sucks, but
I really think that's the guy that you want in this draft too.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. But if not, then
Some people want quarterbacks,
I don't
but
know. I can't dive into the draft just yet. I can't get myself to do it. But
it's okay.
speaking of the
You're almost
Patriots,
there.
another shit fest. Chargers 6, Patriots nothing. You got the win on Chargers -4.5. Um, Yikes.
I
I don't even
grinded
know what
this
to
one
say.
out, buddy.
You did. You really did.
This one.
I,
My God.
what do you even
And
say
he's
about this game?
still employed. Holy bro.
Hey, look, all I can say is I called the Chargers being awful. so I'm happy about that. They're 5-7, and they shouldn't even be 5-7 after
No,
today. But the Patriots are just
no, they should be
actively,
4-8 after today.
yeah, what a
Yeah.
disaster.
So yeah,
Uh,
this was. I mean, to me, honestly, this was an easy call. I've been watching New England. I've been forced to watch New England in the time slot overseas, and a couple of other games. I feel like New England's just been kind of forced down our throats. Thankfully, I think in a week or two or next week they flexed out New England out of the Monday night game. New England, Kansas City. Get that out of there. They don't want to see New England in prime time anymore, and this is why. They're actively trying to lose, and the Chargers, I mean, come on, man. This is gross. Like, this is terrible. 6-0. 6-0. This is an NFL score, and clearly New England's not trying. And the Chargers, you sure as shit better be trying because you're fighting for your job, Brandon Staley, and you end up at 6-0. Oh, oh, whatever. It was, I believe 5 or 5.5 or 4.5. It was all around there when I took it. Uh, 6-0. So yeah, slide into home on this one and never look at this game again because there's literally nothing to talk about. I mean, Zappy is not an NFL quarterback. He's not good. And neither is New England. But I will say that New England keeps finding themselves in games like this.
their
Field goal
defense is decent. Their
their
defense is
defense
decent,
is I'm thinking really underrated. They lost Matthew
probably.
Judon. They lost I believe a corner, I forget who the heck it was, to season-ending injuries, and they're still holding people to these little field goal sprees. And that's impressive to me. In a league where defense is not promoted, um, they're having some low scoring games. But
Now,
yeah,
to be fair, the offenses that they faced, the Chargers, who have struggled all year, the Giants, the Colts, the Commanders, they let up
God,
31 to the
what a
Dolphins.
lineup. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
They let up 31 to the Dolphins. They let up 34 to the Saints, 38 to the Cowboys. It's been really,
Okay.
it's been them facing really bad offenses the last couple of
They're
weeks and
hot and
keeping
they're
them in
cold.
games.
They're
But
yes and they're no.
they're just, it's bad. They play the
Brutal.
Steelers. They play the Steelers next week. That's that's Thursday night football. What is the over under going to be? Is that going to be a 29.5 point over under? Like, are
Historically
they
low,
gonna go
maybe.
that low? Especially if Pickett's out?
Right.
What
Trubisky came in today.
like if Pickett's out, that game that might have or that might break the record for the lowest over under Vegas has ever set for an NFL game. It's
Turns into a
just
track meet. No, just kidding.
yeah, no, I don't think it possibly could.
It physically cannot. Yeah. No, that might be historically low. You're right. Especially if Pickens is out. Or I'm sorry, not Pickens. Pickett is out. Pickens and Pickett are on the same team. But yeah, I don't see New England trying to win.
28 points is the lowest ever over under. It's happened four times, all in
What was it?
1993.
28?
Yeah, all in 1993. I found Stat News data. The lowest since 2000 is 30 and a half, and that was Bears Panthers in 2006. They played each other twice that year. Both spreads were 30 and a half, and both went over. So, I
Hmm.
mean, this one might really set this it has to be around 30. It's going to be around 30. It's going to be right there. I mean, wow. I,
I mean, they're right now projected to slot into the 2 or 3 draft pick right now. I don't know what I don't know what point there is to continue to trot out any sort of winning product or even try to continue to put any sort of wins on the field because I feel like there's an interim coach now in Carolina who's the Bears pick have right now, or whose pick the Bears have right now,
yes.
and an interim coach who might be trying to prove himself or auditioning for a job. Who knows? Whatever. He looked okay against Tampa today, and if they win another game, they'll be tied with New England, and you basically have a toss up for 1, 2, and 3 pick between them and the Giants as well, maybe even Arizona. So
That's very
just keep
weird.
losing, New England, and I'm gonna keep betting against you, please.
I'm rooting for the Patriots here on out. Let's win some games. You need the Jets in that spot.
Cut it, quote it, print it on a T-shirt. It's coming.
Disgusting, disgusting.
Just like I'm a big fucking believer in the Cowboys, right?
As you should be. They proved it on
Oh
Thursday.
boy.
All right, let's
Yeah.
run into this here. It's time, baby. Guy or dude?
Woo!
Regular, everyday, normal guy. Nothing special about me. How do you do, dude?
He's a dude.
To move like that.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Chris, come on, baby. Who you got?
All right, so yeah, I've been bringing the guy or dudes now, and I honestly think that I came up with a few that are pretty decent here.
I hope so. Otherwise, you're
yeah.
out.
So let's talk about it. One comes to us from our Thursday viewing of the Seahawks and the Cowboys that I'm a big effing believer in. I want to know if you think that DaRon Bland is actually a guy or a dude.
It's tough. I haven't watched enough of Bland, I think, to say either way. From what I've seen, he's got this pick six record that's just been
Right.
unbelievable. He had another pick.
Is that fake or real? Is that guy or dude?
It's got. I mean, he's having a dude season. I
Right.
don't know if I could say he is a dude, but I think this year, I mean, he's absolutely performing like a dude. He's been picking the ball off left and right. Now, he did get cooked a couple times. Geno Smith worked him a little bit. So, you know,
Your boy.
my boy Geno.
Your boy Gino.
Yeah. I don't you have to say that he is having a dude season. That's the bottom line. He's picking the ball off. Look, if you're doing that, great. Is he a numero uno shutdown corner? I don't think so. I would have to look into it more. I really don't think that he is. He had one pass defended on Thursday. He clearly wasn't too involved. 6 tackles. Like, he had the pick, and
I believe he
he's
had an INT too. Yeah.
yes, he had the pick, and that's. I mean, he's picking the ball off, and that's impressive. And the pick was impressive. So look, you see this with defensive backs. They have these seasons where they come out and they just perform, and they become kind of shut down corners. And right now, he's having that season. Now he's a 5th-round pick in his second year. He had 5 picks in his rookie year. He seems to have a nose for the ball and an ability to because a lot of corners can shut down guys and then they just get ignored. And then they don't get picks because nobody's throwing at him. Quarterbacks are still going after him, and he's making them pay on that. So right now, he's having a dude season. I can't say for sure that he is a legitimate dude, but he's performing like one. Maybe that's a cop out. I don't know. But
That's a huge cop. I need a verdict.
he's a guy having a dude season, and I might be wrong.
Oh, this is the most Chris Carey verdict ever. This is
Yeah, I know.
not
You do this every week. You
Guy
do
or
this
dude?
every week.
Guy or dude?
Guy.
Wow. It's not going to be an argument then. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I thought this was going to be a good one. I mean, the pick six record.
It's
God,
unbelievable. He's having an
who
incredible
doesn't want to
season.
be that guy?
He's got
Who
a he's
doesn't want
got
to be
a
that dude?
he can solidify himself as a dude in the playoffs. If he shuts down big time receivers and continues to pick the ball off and the Cowboys go deep, he's gonna earn that. He's gonna earn it.
That's the thing. I think DK was a little too much. He said one pass defended, right? On
DK had a
Thursday.
big game. DK had a big game.
This is where my curiosity opened to DaRon Bland here, was when I saw DK literally just out muscle, outrun,
Yes.
outplay a guy who has been now touted as one of the best corners in the league. I think that he's not.
He's not.
And DK again is a physical specimen, an incredible fucking wide receiver. He's always been a big play type of guy. So to break one or two, be expected, totally fine. But digging a little bit deeper, DaRon Bland, again, like you said, 5th round pick, big pedigree guy, played at Fresno State. Not a big program, not a Power 5 school. He's got 8 interceptions, 5 of them for touchdowns this year, which
It's
is just
incredible.
absolutely absurd.
DK made him
Um,
look like a guy, and DK is a dude,
right.
and it was
DK
just
can make
it's
anybody look
evident.
small.
Yeah, I mean he's a freak. He's a freak,
Make anybody look
and
small.
that was a bad job by Bland, but he got the one pick, and he's has a nose for football. And that's a talent. That's a talent
Well,
for a cornerback.
so digging just a tad bit deeper, uh, separation per target. Apparently, he's in the lower quarter of the league. So he allows guys to lag a little bit,
Mhm.
which he's got makeup speed where he can go ahead and then
Yes.
jump the route, right? But if you double move him, he's going to get burned. And there was at least one of those plays that I saw on Thursday that I was like, this guy's jumping routes. Of course, he's got pick six after pick six. But apparently, he is in the lower quadrant of separation allowed to guys. And
Mm.
if you're going to be the guy that's opposite of Trayvon Diggs,
Who is unequivocally a dude.
yeah, exactly. This is incredible. But if you want DaRon Bland to shoulder the load, I think DK exposed him a little bit on Thursday. So that's kind of why I brought him to the table. Very surprised that you agree with that. You
It's okay to agree. It's all
saw
right.
through the numbers.
Sometimes we
All
agree.
right.
Minds
DaRon
think
Bland,
alike.
totally a guy.
He's a guy,
That's what we
but
said,
let's
right?
see what he can do in the playoffs. And if he gets burnt by a top tier receiver, that's case closed. But
For definitely.
if he makes
Let's see him
plays,
on Debo, right?
yeah, he ain't. I don't know. He ain't
Let's see
stopping.
him jump ball it on AJ Brown.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if he's
See
got
him
that in him.
follow Devonta Smith over the middle.
No,
We'll see.
that's for Diggs. That's for Diggs. It's
Yeah.
not. So
It's gonna be tough. Gonna be tough, Mr. Bland.
I like it though. I like bringing a guy like that to the table. So
All right.
good choice. Who else you got?
Second one's gonna be Eric Bieniemy for your Washington Commanders.
My Washington Commanders.
Your Washington Commanders. You picked him over 6.5, right? Eric Bieniemy. A lot of people said coming into the season, Ron Rivera may have hired his own replacement. Do you think that Eric Bieniemy is enough of a dude to be a head coach in this league and to be a head coach that brings a team to the playoffs by himself without help from a top name coordinator or anything like that? Do you think that Eric Bieniemy deserves to be a head coach? Do you think he's been an absolute dude this year with the way that he's taken on what he's done in year one in Washington with Sam Howell? Or is it Sam Howell or Ron Rivera? I don't know. What say you?
It's impressive what he's done with a mediocre offense. Look, going into the year, the wide. It's been a weird season because Sam Howell's been unbelievable, but the Commanders' receivers have been extremely inconsistent. And it was going into the year, you're like, that's a talented receiver room right there. McLaurin,
Yep.
Dotson,
4 pretty good receivers if you want to add Dammy Brown in
Samuel.
there.
Yeah. But it's not you like from a fantasy perspective and watching them, like it's kind of a toss up on who you could start each week. Sam Howell has been, really a bona fide starter for fantasy every week. Didn't get it done this week when you kind of thought he would because he would have to throw the ball a ton. They didn't really throw the ball a ton. He had 23 attempts, which is his lowest total of the season, I believe. He's been throwing it 40 times a game. He now has Howell's got 1 touchdown and 5 picks in his last 3 games, but he still looks really good. He's mobile. I think Bieniemy's getting the best out of Howell. I don't think Bieniemy is head coach material, and I say that based off of him not getting a head coach job already. There's clearly something going on there, um,
Right.
and okay. The Commanders' offense has been pretty good this year, but I don't know. I was reading too. There's some buzz that the players don't want him as head coach. I don't. He doesn't seem to really connect with anybody. He
Right. I
he's
know.
he seems to know how to just call an offense, and I think that's his ceiling. And I think he might just be that guy. He's an offensive coordinator that's not gonna be a head coach, and he might get the shot. But I don't see him being a winning head coach at this point. I really
With you saying that, though, isn't it kind of funny that he's one of those offensive coordinators on the sideline? He's not up
Yeah,
in the booth.
yeah,
He's on the sideline, but he's
yeah. You
still
would
double
think.
ear flapping it,
Yeah, you would
you
think
know?
he would be like a Matt Canada hiding up in the booth until he gets fired, but
Yeah,
he's
or at
but
least
he's a
have
good offensive
one ear flap
coordinator.
on
Yeah,
so you can listen to everybody else who's around you.
yeah,
You should be down there for a reason or you should be up there for I just
right,
he confuses me with that regard, but
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
in that
I
regard.
I don't. He might get that shot, and maybe he deserves it. You gotta move on probably from Rivera. Del Rio's out. Bieniemy's not going
I don't
anywhere.
holy shit.
Sure. So it's
Jack of the River.
Jack of the
Jack
River.
Del Rio, Jack of the River. That's
for
what that
me,
means.
for me, Bieniemy is just a guy who might get his shot and probably should, but I think his ceiling is offense coordinator. What do you say?
I
It's okay to
well,
agree. It's all right. We
no,
don't have to disagree for the
it's
sake of
not. I
disagreeing.
think Rivera and I wasn't of this mindset to start the season. I think he did hire his replacement. I think now what he's done, you can't really say he doesn't have an impact on a football team. There was a lot of talk about him rubbing people the wrong way coming into the organization, and probably because Rivera brings him in and he's not exactly a subordinate. He's like, I'm running this shit. Here we go. This is my opportunity to prove myself. And prove himself, I think he has. I think overall, taking a fifth round quarterback like Sam Howell and making him a Mahomes esque type of protege, which he's not, of course, but bringing a guy who might not necessarily be the most talented guy into the limelight as, he's leading the league in passing yards all of a sudden. You're like, hey, who's this guy, Sam Howell, this fifth round guy? And the enemy's done that. And overall, he's working with an offense that is number one in sacks allowed and dead last in turnover ratio. Those are things that he cannot control, right? So
Yes.
those are player plays, right? Turning the ball over, allowing a sack, not making your block. That's not on your coach. Those are player plays, and you're the worst in both of those categories, right? He was, or at least Washington in 2022 was 21st in passing. They're seventh in passing yards now. So
He's had that effect.
that's huge. He's had that effect. They're pretty decent. They're 10th in red zone offense. I think that comes with a lot of coaching if they're good in the red zone or not. So I think there's a lot of like indicators that he's a great coach. Of course, I don't know what he would do on the defensive side of the ball, but you can probably hire somebody who's better than Jack Del Rio,
Yes.
right?
Well, yeah.
So I think ultimately Bieniemy gets his shot with Washington, and it could be either there's a track meet every week against them and they suck on defense, or he could be one of those guys that doesn't give up the play calling and is too much like me, or nobody wants to play for him. Who knows? It might be Belichick right
It
now. So
seems that
yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah. I think Bieniemy's a dude. I think he's a complete dude for the jumps that we've taken in offense and or offensively, and I think ultimately I'd like to see it for the rest of the team as well.
He's a dude as an offensive coordinator, but coach wise, I think he's got
People
it.
don't like him. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think that's what
People just don't
holds him
fucking
back.
like him.
Oh,
Well, people don't really like Mahomes either. So
yeah, well, that's another story. I don't like Mahomes right now. I mean, what are we doing here?
Dude, I know. I'm sorry. I was like, carry the
No,
flag. Let's go. Here we
I
go.
wanted to take
Chiefs into
no,
the
I wanted
fray.
to take Chiefs -6 so bad, and you were like Chiefs -5.5. I'm like, I'm in. Let's ride.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, it's not over yet, but I really thought the offense was going to break out, and they're just not working.
My Niners
Off.
Chiefs parlays were looking great
Mm,
30 minutes ago.
yeah,
Oh, no, the
plenty of
best.
time. Plenty of time. All right, who you got? Last guy or dude?
Last one, guy or dude? I don't think we've done him before, but in Philadelphia for our 76ers. I'm just kidding. I couldn't even say that. Mr. Tyrese Maxey. Very curious to hear your take on him because I think he's filled in really well for the stats that were left by James Harden. And Philly's clicking. Embiid looks incredible. And Tyrese Maxey, I think, has really stepped into the forefront as somebody who he could be a dude on that team, or maybe he's just a guy. What do you think?
What say you? Go for first on this one. What do you think? I'm curious.
I'm gonna say that Tyrese Maxey is a complete dude. I think he's a complete dude. Kentucky product, fell in the draft though, because people did have worries about his potential. Give the man a shot, right? Give the man a shot. Give him a great inside-outside game with Harris and Embiid and himself there, and he's done pretty well. I think he's scoring about 16 and a half points per game, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. But he's about 41% from three, 48% from the field. So his opportunities he's making the most of. He did play 2 years at Kentucky, so not a one and done. That makes me question some things too. But if you're slated in to be the point guard of the 76ers, you better be pretty efficient, and he's been pretty darn efficient early on in the season. Big hole, uh, big crater that was left by James Harden, and I think he's filled in, said nothing, made no waves, and pretty much put up the production that I think Harden would have there as well. What do you think?
I if you asked me this maybe 2 weeks ago, I probably would have said Guy, and I think that people were overreacting to an early start. But you're 18 games in now, and I just traded for him in fantasy. Made a trade with Polly, and I probably gave up a little too much. But
Friend of the podcast.
I was looking, yeah, our guy Polly, who was NBA expert for our season preview. He, I might have gave up a little too much, but I was looking at top tier players
What was the
who
trade?
can.
Tell our
It
friends.
was Randall Levine, who I was getting tired of, and he's
Yeah,
having a
you
bad
shopped Levine to
season.
me.
Yeah, Jakob Poeltl on Toronto and Fred Van Vliet. So it was a good amount of players.
What did you get in return?
I got Tyrese Maxey as the centerpiece, and I think the best player in the deal. And I also
Yep.
got John Collins, power forward from Utah.
Incredible. So wait, let's lay it out again. John Collins and Tyrese Maxey for
For Julius Randle, Jakob Poeltl, Zach Levine, who is now out and not having a good year, and Fred Van Vliet, who I like, but also is not really having a good first year in Houston. He could turn it around, just playing a ton. That I wish I held on to one of those guys and maybe could have gotten it done. But
sure.
I would. What I'm looking at is, I had Sabonis, Brunson, and then those guys, Randall and Van Vliet, and Levine was supposed to be that stud, and he looked bad. I don't think he's going to have a good year at all.
I don't think he is either.
And there's reports in Chicago like nobody even wants to trade for him. Like nobody wants. He's overpaid. Looks bad.
I
And
mean, he's a big jumper. That's all I know.
Maxey's a guy who in this league, which is tough scoring, because you get really dinged if you're not an efficient shooter in our league. And
For sure.
Maxey's a guy who's scoring
I
40
believe
plus
the missed
fantasy
field goal
points.
is -1, right?
Yeah, so it's a tough one. Or I think it might be minus two. Like you get dinged pretty bad. I have to look at the score, but it's been low scoring this year. And
Right.
I was looking for a dude, and that's Tyrese Maxey. He's playing like a dude. He's 27 points a game. I think he's taken the leap. His fourth year in the league. He's 23 years old. He took a little bit of a leap last year, averaging 20 points a game. But now he's taking the leap into dudedom. And like you said, he's filled that void with Harden. He looks like the strong number 2 with Embiid, which sucks because I wanted Embiid to be available. Now I don't think that's the case, but he's a dude. I'm impressed.
You called him a dude?
He's a dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you traded for him.
Yeah.
What you traded for him is anything, any indication. He better
He's
be
got
a
to be a
dude.
dude. I need him to be a dude now. So,
But I love that you rolled the dice there. It's not a different sign for anything else.
I was.
But I love
I'm
that you rolled the dice there.
I'm 1-4 now. I needed.
I know I beat you last week. I didn't want to bring it to the pod,
You
but
beat
I
me by
figured
like 1 point, right?
some way. Is that 1 point? I don't think it was 1 point. I've been trying to log into ESPN as long as we've been talking about Tyrese Maxey.
You beat me by 2 points.
I don't think it's. I beat you by 2 points.
You beat me by 2 points.
You know what I have to say to that is I'd take a little bit on the bed for a couple dubs. You know?
A little bit of beer on the bed.
A little beer on the bed for a couple
You beat me
dubs.
because Cole Anthony had the best game he's going to have of this whole
Because
season.
Cole Anthony delivers to naughty kids. That's what it is. Cole for the season. Cole Anthony is incredible. He's just in a room with like 92 point guards on the Magic. Cole Anthony is unbelievable.
All right. Moving on. The OG. GBS. The good. The bad. And the shitty. I'm going to get us rolling here with my good. We were just talking NBA. My good is the NBA in-season tournament, baby.
Let's go. I love this.
The bracket is out. Games, these bracket games start on Monday night. You got the Pacers and the Celtics at 7:30, and then you got the Kings and the Pelicans at 10. And I'm locked in. I'm going to be betting on these games. I'm going to be watching. And my Knicks are on Tuesday night, the 4 seed out of the East against the Milwaukee Bucks. And then you got Lakers Suns on Tuesday night to cap it off, the West Coast game, which is going to be a blast.
Lakers Suns is a nice game.
This is fun. The one negative that people have raised, and I'm going to argue against it, is, and I think we talked about it a little bit, but we got to respect the game because point differential has decided some seedings and some.
Get out of here with that.
In and out. You got to score.
I love
Just
it.
go and score. Score points, man. I mean, come on. Don't disrespect the game. Just go and play and score points. And I love it. And I'm very excited because these teams want to compete in this tournament. They want to win. They get a what's the cash prize?
$500K.
$500K for each player, right?
Yeah, could you imagine sitting the end of the bench, being a Brian Scalabrine,
and
being a guy like that? That's incredible.
Scalabrine.
I didn't realize that to start. I think I said early in our pod, like, how do we incentivize these guys to take these games seriously? To whatever $500,000 to half the bench is game changing money.
And I think the superstars on a team who have the big contracts are motivated for their team to get those guys that bonus. Because obviously, even if you're making millions, $500K is nothing to sneeze at. You still want that, but that's a huge difference for a guy at the end of the bench. Like Ryan Arcidiacono or whatever the hell his name is on the Knicks.
Arcidiacono?
Yeah. I mean,
wait, is he on the Knicks?
Yeah, he's back on the Knicks.
Nick and Nova, 100%. Let's go.
Man, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I love that name. That is all-time name list, Arcidiacono.
Yeah. And he brings that chemistry, man. That's the Nova Knicks. You gotta love it. Dante DiVincenzo,
Arcidiacono,
shooting the lights out. My Knicks are. This is fun. It's fun, and it's a great, maybe even. I'm excited.
It's definitely good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna agree with you, and I wish I thought of it. But
I am
the NBA in-season tournament. I'm
it's a win.
I love the different courts. Yeah. I think it's incredible. I think
I didn't like them at first, but I thought they were a little. It was a little aggressive to the eyes, but
how do you make the players realize? How do you make them realize other than playing on a completely blue floor or a completely purple floor or whatever the heck it is. Like,
Yeah.
then the players know they're playing some sort of Euro basketball
Yeah.
and they're playing for some money, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
gonna be locked.
hockey
Yeah.
should follow suit.
They should do a
Early
little
season
something.
tournament,
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like it. I think it's there's
outdoor
some kinks.
series.
There's some kinks they could maybe work out here with it, but for the most part, I think for the first season, I think it's a win, and I think they'll build on it, maybe expand it, and go
Yeah.
from there. But I'm excited. You got a bracket. I mean,
I
brackets are
think
fun. Who
LeBron
doesn't like a
really wants
bracket?
to fucking win it.
Yeah, he definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. You
I'm
know.
gonna be the first ever to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's him. I'll be all
Nothing
crazy.
that Michael Jordan has
Yeah.
ever done.
Yeah.
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 Nothing that Kareem ever did. Nothing that Magic ever did. Yeah. He's in. He's locked in.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Who's your good?
My good is going to come from college football. My good is going to be my man, Michael Penix Jr. For University of Washington. I think solidifying himself as one of the best quarterbacks of this draft coming up. I think Penix is an absolute pure passer. 300 yards passing in the Pac-12, the farewell Pac-12 championship, because they're going to be gone after this year. But 320 yards, touchdown. He had an incredible season. He played last week with hurt ribs. Beat Bo Nix, who was America's favorite Heisman frontrunner, and knocked out Oregon for a solid season with Washington. I think overall the guy started 4 out of his 6 college years, or 4.5 out of his 6 college years. He's been incredible, and I think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. So my good's going to be Michael Penix, because watching that Washington-Oregon game as a bettor as well, I like to go against the grain, and a lot of people thought Oregon was going to walk away with that. Bo Nix would walk away with the Heisman in turn, and Michael Penix with his cupboard of wide receivers actually held on, beat Oregon for that win. I think it was huge. I think Michael Penix is a guy that I would want running an NFL offense, though. So he's my good. He's done it for a long time.
There seems to be a number of quarterbacks that are going to go in the first round of this draft. Well, at least 5 guys, maybe 6. It's.
I mean, right off the bat, I'll name Drake May, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Michael Penix,
Jaden Daniels.
and Jaden Daniels. I wouldn't want Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels is Heisman numbers and everything like that. But
JJ
I
McCarthy.
don't know. JJ McCarthy. Oh, he's like the 12th member of Dude Perfect or something like that. Get out of here, JJ McCarthy. Goodbye.
Keep it rolling. Who's your bad?
My bad is let's go from the college game to the NFL game. We were talking about divisions before. We were talking about the ineptitude of the NFC East when the Commanders made the playoffs there a couple of years with a losing record. This year it's going to be the NFC South. Holy crap, you guys suck. Atlanta, I think 6-6, leading the division. That's terrible. Arthur Smith, or like he liked to call him, Farther Smith, not utilizing Bijan Robinson, loving Tyler Algier, giving hugs to Cordarrelle Patterson rather than Drake London, Kyle Pitts, doing whatever it takes to just not coach this talented team pretty well. You're at 6-6. Behind that, you've got 5-7 Tampa Bay, 5-7 New Orleans, and 1-11 Carolina. So your overall wins are pretty terrible as a division. I think New Orleans is the most talented team in that division. But Derek Carr, we've talked about him extensively. I don't think that they're going to get over the hump with him. It's funny, you watch Jameis Winston come in. He came in today when Derek Carr got knocked the F out again. And there's just a different vibe. Like, Olave catches a tip ball for like 55 yards or whatever, just gone. Like, Jameis Winston, obviously it's not all him if something like that's happening or whatever, but there's just a different level of excitement that he brings to the table. But overall, the NFC South sucks. It's so bad.
Falcons Bucks next week. Yeah. Falcons Bucks next week is probably going to decide the division. It's disgusting. I don't even want to watch that game.
I think the Bucks should win. I think if teams are deserving, the Bucks should win. They played a tougher schedule, but
Baker.
whatever.
Baker's doing enough there where he's finding Mike Evans and moving the ball.
Jake and Baker.
Rashad White's looking good. Yeah, I think the Bucks win
Yeah,
it.
what the hell, Rashad White? I'm a fan of Rashad White. He's decent.
I'm mad I was out on him in fantasy drafts, but
Right.
all right, I'll keep it rolling here. My bad. Kristaps Porzingis' legs. You got a calf injury now. He's missed about a week. He's not going to be in the tournament game on Monday. It's been announced he's missing it. The guy can't stay on the court. And I said this before when we had our guy do debates, and this is the biggest knock on the Celtics this year. Are they going to be able to keep that incredible starting five and top six in their rotation? Are they going to be able to stay on the court? And Porzingis is going to be the biggest question mark. Has only appeared in 60 games once since 2017. He's got a torn ACL, torn meniscus. He's had so many knee surgeries. Now the calf's hurting. He's probably not going to play 60 games this year. Is he going to be healthy in time for the playoffs? The Celtics will make the playoffs regardless. And regardless of how, if he plays 50 whatever games, 40 whatever games. But he's got to be healthy at the end there for the Celtics to have that championship season. And I don't know if he could do it. It's going to come down to timing and then how much they can rest him. And without him, I don't think they can win it all. I'll say that. But Porzingis' legs, you gotta keep the man upright. You're not doing it.
That's a man on stilts too. That's tough.
Very tough.
That's tough.
But
I hear you.
But you're bad.
I mean, without them, they're just who they were last year. I mean, Peyton Pritchard is basically Marcus Smart.
I don't know if I would go that far.
I'm just trying to get a reaction out of you. But no, I hear you. I think that their championship hopes and dreams hinge on him being healthy.
Shitty.
You have a shitty?
I do have a shitty.
Bring it on.
I would go here, but I want to hear who you have because it'll hinge on who I go with. So I want you to go with who I think you're going to go with. But let's hear it. Let's go out of order here. Give me your shitty.
All right, my shitty is the college football playoff committee.
There it is. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for. Okay.
All right. Can I hear your argument about what was it?
My argument was I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted you, our resident college football expert, to talk about it. So I was going to bring it up if you weren't bringing it up, but let's hear it.
Sure. Yeah. No. No big deal. I'm not going to sit here and go ahead and trumpet Ohio State or anything like that. But you have a unbeaten Florida State team who wins their conference and is already in the top four. Who gets jumped by two teams who have already played one another and have been consistently behind Florida State in the top four as well. I do believe that Ohio State at 6 was the logical person to move into the number 4 slot with Oregon losing, Washington beating Oregon. Of course, that'd be great. But the criteria that the committee judges does include a conference championship. And in a year, outside of a year like we've had this year, that makes sense. But again, this year you had 2 conference championships champions behind Ohio State, but you still had Florida State, who was a conference champion ahead. So why Florida State got kicked out is because Jordan Travis got hurt. I don't think we should be playing God here. No. There's 70 other players on that team who deserve to be playing for the college football national championship. And you're going to leave them out because one dude got hurt. And he was a dude. He's
the entire team.
It sucks for the entire team, and it's completely wrong. It's a Power 5 team who went undefeated, and you have 2 one-loss teams now ahead of them playing for the college football championship for TV ratings. It's wrong. I don't agree with it. Some people will say, oh, whatever. It's going to be however many teams next year. But there's, again, 69 other players or whatever the roster is for Florida State who deserve to be playing for this championship, sitting there and twiddling their thumbs because one guy got hurt. We should be playing God because their criteria They met at least 2 out of the 4 outside of the injury criteria, and that should only be a head-to-head thing that you're looking at.
No.
I don't agree with it, and I'm kind of sad about it, but it is what it is.
Yep, that was what I felt just from reading, and obviously not being as big of a CFB fan as you are, and I don't watch as many games, but just I was surprised to hear about FSU and that whole thing. So, and now Bama's in, and that's what they want. So
Exactly.
that's what it comes down to. My shitty. I will also talk college football, but Iowa, the Hawkeyes offense. I want to know more. Like, why are they so bad? This is it's atrocious. I was looking back, like they went 10-2, won the Big Ten West. They played 2 ranked teams all year. They lost 31-0 at Penn State and 26-0 against Michigan. And that is just, I mean,
It's
I
because
know
Kirk
something about
Ferentz' son was the offensive coordinator. It was nepotism at its
it's
finest. They had to
nepotism,
fire
yeah.
Brian Ferentz, but still,
Just
it's
my goodness, great. That's a
terrible. An
disgusting
elite
offense.
defense. This is the Jets of
It's the
college
Jets
football.
of college football. That was my immediate thought as I saw that score. I watched a little bit of the game, but just wow.
Yeah.
That's the Jets, baby. Just disgusting.
Yeah.
Pretty rough to be a fan like that. Michigan just steamrolled them. It wasn't even a game. So now it's Michigan, Alabama, right? Is that the
Yeah, which is a good matchup. I get it.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch. But
Yeah.
all right, man. We got a minute. You wanna wrap us
Yeah,
up here?
by the way, Simone Biles' husband is on the Packers. Simone Biles is an absolute American hero. Why don't we talk about her other than Tay-Tay? But again, let's go back to college football. Army-Navy, the only college football game that matters this
Right.
weekend. Army can take home Commander-in-Chief trophy after beating Air Force, who was, I believe, undefeated earlier in the season. Let's go. Triple option. Wishbone. I hope it snows in New England.
I'm in.
Left
I love
field.
it. I'll be betting whatever the under is. Winter meetings.
move.
Winter meetings start this week. Let's heat this
Oh,
stove up here.
that's
There's
more
so many
exciting.
rumors. I'm excited. Let's go.
Come on, Blake.
Baseball. All right. Thanks, everybody. Follow us at the Sports Clash, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you can find us. Love you. Thank you. Have a good night.
Peace out.